In a village of Obodo nestled amidst the hills of Igbo land, Nkemdilim, the daughter of the village chief, Chief Okeke, showed remarkable courage and prowess in hunting and defense from an early age, surprising the elders with her exceptional potential. Renowned throughout the village for her bravery and skill, Nkemdilim diligently served as a trusted aide in the palace. She was raised immersed in lessons of leadership and defense, frequently joining her father in the forest to hunt and the warriors in training sessions. Her sharp strategic acumen and innate leadership qualities earned her widespread respect among the villagers and love from the palace. One fateful day, as the elders gathered in the palace for their meeting, Nkemdilim helping out in the palace to organize the palm wine for the elders, and a runner arrived breathless with urgent news. Enemies approach. On the day the runner arrived with dire news. "Enemies approach from the east," he announced, gasping for breath. Panic spread among the elders as they realized their peaceful existence was under threat. The king immediately issued a decree instructing the elders to inform their families to stay indoors and refrain from going to the farms, as the village was under enemy invasion. Upon receiving the king's decree, the elders hurried to their homes, urgently relaying the message to their families: stay indoors and avoid venturing out, for the village faced imminent invasion by enemies. Meanwhile, the Igwe summoned the town crier to sound the alarm and called upon Ikenga, the head warrior, to assemble the fighters for battle. Nkemdilim, who had been present at the palace and heard every detail, was overcome with anger and a fierce determination to act swiftly. Leaving the palace grounds, she approached Ikenga, her desire to confront the enemies evident in her eyes. Aware of her strength and bravery from recent training sessions where she had skillfully defeated some of the warriors, Ikenga readily accepted her into the ranks for the upcoming battle and informed other warriors to prepare for the battle. Nkemdilim left the palace immediately to her father's house, standing in front of their hut wearing her fighting attire and preparing for the fight. Her father, who saw how she ran into the hut, came out to know what she was doing. He saw Nkemdilim in her battle costume and asked in a worried and scared tone, "Where are you going to, Nkemdilim? Don't tell me you want to join the warriors to battle." Nkemdilim replied, "Father, I will not sit by and watch while our village is threatened. I'm joining the warriors in this battle." With a heavy heart, her father pleaded, "Nkemdilim, Pauls, don't join the warriors. This is not a battle for kids. You are my only child and family. Please don't kill me before my time." Nkemdilim was determined. "Father, nothing would happen to me. Stay back and pray for me to return safe." Her father hesitated, torn between pride in his daughter's bravery and fear for her safety. But seeing the determination in her eyes, he finally nodded. "Go, Nkemdilim. May the spirits of our ancestors protect you." Nkemdilim wasted no time and went to the palace. The village warriors were already gathered. Among them were Okezi, a skilled archer whose aim was unmatched, and Adaugo, a seasoned warrior known for her fierce loyalty and tactical acumen. Nkemdilim, a fierce and courageous fighter. Uche, Iron, Agbara, Friday. These warriors were fierce and powerful amongst many. Together, they formed the core of Ikenga's defense strategy. Ikenga appointed scouts to monitor the movements of the enemy and dispatched messengers to neighboring villages, seeking alliances and reinforcements. The urgency of their mission weighed heavily upon them as they prepared for the imminent battle. Days turned into nights as tensions mounted. The enemy, driven by greed and ambition, approached with relentless determination. One fateful morning, the village lookout cried out, "They are upon us!" Ikenga and his warriors sprang into action, taking up their positions with grim determination. The enemy descended upon the village like a storm, their war cries echoing through the hills. Despite their smaller numbers, Ikenga's warriors fought with unmatched ferocity and skill. The battle was fierce and relentless. Nkemdilim fought at the forefront with Ikenga, the great warrior, her spear flashing in the sunlight as she defended her people with unwavering courage. She rallied her warriors with words of encouragement, urging them to stand firm against the onslaught. Ikenga was amazed by her strength. The battle went tougher and tougher. Warriors were injured badly. Some were died, and some fled away. After a lot of loss from the enemies, the remaining ran from the battlefield. Nkemdilim cried out as they lost 2 of the village great warriors and found 14 lifeless bodies of their enemy lying on the field. The bodies of their warriors were taken to the king, and the villagers were in sorrow as they lost two of their great fighters. As the day wore on, the village trembled under the weight of the enemy's assault. Yet Ikenga's leadership and the bravery of his warriors held strong. They repelled wave after wave of attacks, refusing to yield an inch of their sacred land. As the sun dipped low on the horizon, the enemy's resolve began to falter. Their ranks thinned, their spirits broken by the indomitable spirit of the warriors. Sensing victory within their grasp, Ikenga, Nkemdilim, and the remaining warriors launched a final, decisive counterattack. The enemy, now in disarray, fled in retreat, their dreams of conquest shattered. The villagers erupted in cheers of triumph, their voices echoing across the valley. Nkemdilim stood amidst her comrades, her face streaked with sweat and dirt, her heart swelling with pride for her people. That night, the village gathered at the village square to mourn the demise of the great warriors. During the morning, the enemies invaded angrily and shot at the people continuously. Everyone fled, dead bodies of adult and children on the ground, people running helter-skelter for their lives. The warriors attacked them. The village was filled with fear. Warriors were fierce and they fought with every strength in them. At the war front, Ikenga was stabbed. Hus' voice echoed in Nkemdilim's ears as she immediately removed the arrow from his body, protected him against the enemies, and fought like a hungry lion, till there was no one enemy left. They carried Ikenga to the priest for treatment immediately. Ikenga fought for his life, but the pains were so much that he couldn't make it. The warriors and villagers gathered to the palace. King and all the villagers couldn't believe their ears. The great warrior Ikenga did not make it. Nkemdilim's father was shocked and happy to see his daughter back alive. The death of Ikenga cast a dark shadow over the village. The grief was palpable as the villagers mourned the loss of their great warrior, whose bravery and strength had been a cornerstone of their community's defense for years. The king and the elders held a solemn ceremony to honor Ikenga's memory, vowing to remember his courage and sacrifices. Despite the overwhelming sorrow, there was a glimmer of hope and pride within the village. Nkemdilim, who had emerged as a leader during the fierce battle, was hailed for her extraordinary bravery and tactical acumen. The warriors who had fought alongside her spoke highly of her leadership, recounting how she had inspired them to continue fighting even in the face of dire odds. Recognizing her valor and the vital role she played in the battle, the king and the elders decided to honor Nkemdilim with a special ceremony. The villagers gathered at the palace, where the king himself presented Nkemdilim with a ceremonial spear and shield, symbols of her new status as a chief warrior of the village. Nkemdilim, the king announced, his voice resonating with authority and pride. Your courage and leadership have not only saved us, but have also shown us the true spirit of our ancestors. You are now a chief warrior, and we look to you to guide and protect us in the time to come. The villagers erupted in cheers, their spirits lifted by the recognition of Nkemdilim's heroism. Her father, who had been filled with both shock and joy at her safe return, stood with tears in his eyes, overwhelmed by pride. He embraced his daughter, whispering words of praise and gratitude. In the days that followed, Nkemdilim took on her new responsibilities with dedication and humility. She trained the warriors rigorously, ensuring that they were always prepared for any future threats. She also worked closely with the elders, advising them on matters of defense and strategy. Nkemdilim's leadership extended beyond the battlefield. She initiated community projects to rebuild and strengthen the village's defenses, organized hunting expeditions to ensure ample food supply, and fostered a sense of unity and resilience among the villagers. Her actions earned her respect and admiration from all, solidifying her role as a key figure in the village. The loss of Ikenga remained a painful memory, but his legacy lived on through the stories told around evening fires and the lessons passed down to young warriors. Nkemdilim made sure that his spirit of bravery and dedication to the village would never be forgotten. Over time, the village flourished under Nkemdilim's leadership. She continued to honor the traditions and values that had been instilled in her, while also ushering in a new era of strength and vigilance. The village, once shaken by the invasion and the loss of their great warrior, emerged stronger and more united than ever before. Nkemdilim's journey from a courageous young lady to a revered chief warrior became a source of inspiration for generations to come. Her story a testament to the power of bravery, leadership, and the enduring spirit of the Igbo people. Thank you so very much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Bye bye.